What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So, Daniel Dubois stops Filip Hrgovic on cuts. And look, Daniel Dubois and Filip Hrgovic, I was favouring Filip Hrgovic in this fight, but I wasn't entirely convinced because I am questioning Hrgovic's desire for the game. And it's not, I gave him a pass on the Zhili Zhang fight because in the Zhili Zhang fight, he was turning his back, he looked disinterested, was looking at the floor. And I thought, well, he's recently lost his father, so I gave him a pass for that. But ultimately, he went and fought Dempsey McKean, and there was a lot of the same. He found a home for his right hand in that fight and got the job done. So I can't, but even so, in that fight, he did show signs of disinterest and maybe lack of desire, lack of wanting it. He took several rounds off. He didn't look fully fit to me. So then going into the Daniel Dubois fight, he started off well, and he again started to fade. And also in this fight, there was sparring rumours that those two sparred and Filip Hrgovic really put it on Dubois. But from the opening bell, I see Daniel Dubois landing his jab, that solid, hard jab of his. And I see Filip Hrgovic, yes, he was having success, but he just seemed to lack the desire. Daniel Dubois, to me, looked like he wanted it more. And because Dubois wanted it more, he was willing to go to places that Filip Hrgovic wasn't prepared to go. I've noticed a little pattern in Filip Hrgovic fights. He starts off pretty sharp, and then as the fight goes down the line in maybe rounds 3 to 7, or 3 to 8, even 9, he likes to take rounds off. So he likes to take these rounds off and then come back at the tail end of a fight. But you can't do that every fight and find the answer. Filip Hrgovic is someone who came in with a lot of potential, a lot of promise into the pros, but I don't think that he's going to achieve that, because if you look at one thing, I was looking at BoxRec, I think before the fight, and what I saw was Filip Hrgovic starting his career in the 220s. Now, I know fighters tend to gain a bit of weight, but Filip Hrgovic almost looks a little bit unfit to me. Like, he's not actually fit. And maybe he'd be better served fighting in the 230s or the late 220s. Daniel Dubois just looks so much stronger than Filip Hrgovic. He looked stronger, he looked like he punched harder. Filip Hrgovic was still catching Daniel Dubois with overhand rights. And the thing with Filip Hrgovic is he looked pretty predictable in this fight. And both had success, don't get me wrong. And Filip Hrgovic, one thing I'm going to give him is he has a chin, because he got caught with some flush shots from a legit puncher in Daniel Dubois, and he took those like a G, man. He took his punishment in there, and he would have carried on if it wasn't for the stoppage from cuts. But let's be real here. Filip Hrgovic fell asleep again in the fight, and this allowed Daniel Dubois just to come on top. Daniel Dubois, physically strong guy. Daniel Dubois willing to go to places that Hrgovic weren't prepared to go. And Filip Hrgovic did not look devastated when that fight was finished. So I think Filip Hrgovic needs to ask where he wants to go here, because I know it wasn't his fault. He didn't choose for the fight to be stopped, but at times looking disinterested, taking rounds off, and then at spots showing his qualities, and also a bit predictable with the jab and then the jab overhand right. He needed to switch it up. I can't remember seeing Filip Hrgovic go into the body, so maybe that's something he needs to look at. Daniel Dubois was a lot more varied in his attacks, and he looked like he had more tenacity to his game. Daniel Dubois moves on from here. Filip Hrgovic, bit of a disappointment. I can't see him fulfilling the potential that he showed when, in the amateurs. So to me, that's a shame. But we'll see where he goes from here. I'm not going to write him off completely. You got Daniel Dubois moving on, and there's talk of an Anthony Joshua fight. Styles make fights, and we're really learning this as time goes on, because Joe Joyce beat Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker's now riding the crest of a wave, beating Deontay Wilder and Zhili Zhang. And then you've got another situation where, it just goes to show you that styles make fights. Styles make fights. It's just crazy because, Andy Ruiz, he beat Luis Ortiz. He's going to go in there against Jerome Miller. Daniel Dubois, this is something you should really look at. Daniel Dubois just beat Filip Hrgovic. Filip Hrgovic beat Zhilei Zhang. Zhilei Zhang's just gone and knocked out Deontay Wilder and had a very good fight against Joseph Parker. So we need to have a look at these things and understand that styles make fights. And I say that to say this. I think Daniel Dubois' style is all wrong for Anthony Joshua. I can see Daniel Dubois beating Anthony Joshua. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying 100%, but when I look at this long, hard jab with Daniel Dubois, when I look at the physical attributes Daniel Dubois has and the power, I can see him potentially beating Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua, just to give some perspective on the styles make fights element of boxing, I can see Anthony Joshua being all wrong for Tyson Fury. I can see Anthony Joshua sparking Tyson Fury out. And I was saying this before Tyson Fury went and lost Alexander Usyk, because for me, styles make fights. I think Anthony Joshua stands a very good chance of beating Zhilei Zhang as long as he uses his feet and is smart. But I do see Daniel Dubois having a very good chance of beating Anthony Joshua. It's just that styles make fights, rock, paper, scissors element to boxing. So let's see what happens from here. Shout out to Daniel Dubois. He looks like he's riding the crest of a wave. Very, very quickly covering the other fights. Willie Hutchinson, I thought he would lose to Craig Richards. He went and did the business. I was impressed with Hamza Shiraz against Amo Williams. He recovered from being hurt in that fight in the second round. Who else is fine on that card? Nick Ball impressed me. I'm really impressed with Nick Ball and his tenacity, and he got the win there. Who else? Dimitri Bivol was being outboxed. Truth be told, Dimitri Bivol, I wasn't impressed with him. He found what he needed to find in the end to stop his opponent Zenad, but boy, he was getting outboxed at times in there, I'm telling you. And is Dimitri Bivol slowing down, or was he just taking his time getting into the fight? I don't know, but it looked very much to me like he was having problems in there, and the ref, wanted to stop that as soon as he hurt his opponent, just to, big fight on the line. People don't want to ruin that. So as soon as there's an excuse to stop the fight, maybe that's what happened. Who knows? Anyway, let me know what you think of Daniel Dubois versus Filip Hrgovic. Let me know what you think of the other fights on the card. And like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video. If you appreciate my work and want to leave a donation, there's a link for that in the description. With that, enjoy the rest of your day. See you on the next one.